This is the FIBA Basketball World Cup 2023 talk show. Please welcome your host for today's program, Denise Tan.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the FIBA Basketball World Cup 2023 talk show. Again, my name is Denise Tan, and I will be your host for today's program. Now, I know you guys know that this is going to be an exciting morning, so sit back, relax, and let me just make my way to my seat over here. Now, as you may have noticed, if there's any nation that's got mad love for basketball, it's the Philippines. It's reflected in the kids playing in the courts on the streets around the country and the roar of the crowd during the games. I know you've heard all of the Filipino crowd, all of the foreign friends that we have here in Manila. Basketball is our pastime. It is our joy, our passion, and it is because we are basketball. And this year, we've been given the true honor of co-hosting the FIBA Basketball World Cup on home soil. And because of that, we've been able to witness some of the most amazing displays of sportsmanship, dedication, and excellence in the past few days. And I can say that the surge of traffic has truly been worth it. Now, with the finals happening tomorrow at the Mall of Asia Arena and at the end of the FIBA Basketball World Cup, as we know, is fast approaching as well, it's only right that we end this celebration of the love of the game with a bang. What a better way to do that than to show our FBWC 23 Global Ambassadors some love. So I won't keep them waiting much longer. Let's get on with the program and introduce our esteemed guest for today's event. Our first FBWC 23 Global Ambassador is pure electricity on the court. He's recognized as the World Cup's second all-time top scorer with a whopping 716 points. He's a two-time FIBA Americas Championship MVP and won Olympic gold with La Generación Dorada in the 2004 edition in Athens. Let's take a look.
I proudly represented my country every time my name was called. I have worn la camiseta de selección in 5 Olympic Games. I have 2 Olympic medals around my neck, including 1 gold. I played alongside some of the all-time greats, and I know what it takes. But there was one trophy I could never win. The FIBA Basketball World Cup is the peak of the game. It's furious. You need the fans behind you. And that's why I will be there in 2023, standing right next to the fans. Because when you win for one, you win for all.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage FBWC 23 Global Ambassador, Luis Scola. All right, our next FBWC 23 Global Ambassador is regarded as one of the best passing big men in the game. He's a 2006 World Cup champion, a 3-time Eurobasket champion, and NBA champion as well, making him an all-around dynamic legend on the court. Let's take a look.
The one thing that I haven't done is to be on the floor when my country won the FIBA Basketball World Cup. While it's one of my most treasured memories, I wasn't able to play. The World Cup is the toughest trophy in basketball to win. You need character, you need chemistry, you need your teammates to pick you up. Because when you win for one, you win for all.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage FBWC 23 Global Ambassador, Pau Gasol. Our last FBWC 23 Global Ambassador is a 3-time Olympic gold medalist playing for the national team for a total record of 4 times. He is regarded as one of the greatest scorers in NBA history. He currently ranks 9th in the NBA career scoring leaders. He's one of the most decorated players in international basketball history, and He is a certified bucket getter. Let's watch this.
You may have read FIBA Melo is just different. I've got 3 Olympic gold medals. But man, one thing that I couldn't bring home for Team USA is the FIBA Basketball World Cup. It's the toughest competition in the basketball world to win. Everything has to go right. And that's why I'll be there, to watch the 2023 FIBA Basketball World Cup. Because when you win for one, you win for all.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage FBWC 23 Global Ambassador, Carmelo Anthony. All right, ladies and gentlemen, please give it up once again for our FIBA Basketball World Cup 2023 Global Ambassadors. All right, now it's time to take a deeper dive to get to know our FBWC 23 Global Ambassadors who just flew into Manila to be with all of us here tonight. You guys ready? Luis, Pau, Melo? All right. Now, okay, first question. This is actually for all of you guys. We all saw you on courtside. Yesterday, you were watching the semis. How did you find the energy in the arena, looking at the crowd, looking at the stands, and everybody was just all out, all the time, basically? You can go first, Luis.
Yeah, I think it was amazing. The energy in general was unbelievable. Obviously, yesterday we have a great upset with Germany beating the U.S., and that brings a lot of energy to the arena. But also in Jakarta, it was unbelievable, the amount of energy, the amount of fans, how passionate they were. So I was very happy. For me, it was the first time that I had a chance to be in this island, and I really enjoyed it.
What about you, Pau?
Yeah, I mean, it's what you expect out of a semifinals, right? I mean, 4 teams playing to access the final game, to fight for the goal. We saw 2 great games. It was wide open, really. I mean, when you think about a favorite, obviously you think about the U.S. always being very powerful. But, as you see, all these teams have made a lot of progress, and they've, they gave themselves a chance. They have no fear. They go at it, and we watched, again, great game. The second semifinal was even a better game. Came down to the wire, but congratulate Serbia and Germany for those big wins yesterday.
Melo, what about you?
For me, it was great just being on the other side of it, being on the outside and not being a player in those moments, and being able to see, the intensity level and the focus level that all 4 teams played with yesterday. I was actually excited that it was 2 very great games. It was great games yesterday. It was a great atmosphere. I thought the fans got what they wanted. We got what we wanted as ambassadors and as competitors. So overall, I thought it was a great semifinal day.
Well, there's more to come tomorrow with battle for third and battle for gold. So we're all going to be waiting for that. But Luis, we know that you've battled Pau and the Spanish team several times in your career. How was that like? Do you remember what it was like?
Yeah, I do remember. It was tough. It was tough. Spain had a great team for all these years, and it was great. Those battles that we had, and they did unbelievable, great success, winning a couple of World Cups, and we got also our moments. We were up there too, fighting with everybody. So I remember the most thing I remember about those games was how tough they were.
What about you, Pau? What do you remember battling Luis in the past?
Yeah, as Luis was saying, great battles with Argentina. We ran into each other multiple times in different tournaments. What you could expect when you played Argentina was a physical match, really very competitive. Obviously, Manu, Fabri, Nocioni, Luis, with the rest of their team, everybody just brought a lot of fight to the game, and you're going to have to play at a really high level and really match that physicality if you wanted to have a chance to win. So obviously great battles. We had good runs. Really, the 3 of us here with our teams, we had a lot of great battles, and I think we did our part to elevate the game. So it was something to be proud of.
Okay, speaking of memories, but before I go to that, Melo, I just want to know, when I started asking Luis about what he remembers about, why are you giggling? That's exactly what you did.
Yeah, I didn't want to jump into that conversation.
But I have to ask you because, of course, you have gone up against these two as well in your career. Does anything specific pop out?
I think just the battles, right, and the actual, the way that you had to approach each team, each country differently. And again, these guys, their respective teams, the country, they've been together for a long time. They grew up together. On our side, a lot of times we were putting those teams together in 2 months and having a week training camp and say go and try to win a gold medal. But when you run up against, powerhouses like Spain and Argentina, it's like you have to find that edge and you have to find something different as opposed to, having time to gel and the whole year, just time growing up. We had to figure that out in 2 months. So that made it difficult and challenging going up against those guys, but also made it fun, right? Because we knew that we had to come play and we knew what was at stake for us and for those guys.
I just want to touch on what you said because you mentioned powerhouse. And we saw yesterday one powerhouse team, USA, got beat by Germany. Serbia got the win over Serbia. Were you surprised at all? Do you think we should even consider those games as quote-unquote upsets just because the game, I think you guys can all agree, has evolved so much globally?
It is an upset. I mean, let's just be quite frank. I mean, we don't want to sugarcoat it. It's an upset. I mean, when you have that gold standard and that you that's what we're reaching. That's our goal. So anything other than that is an upset, right? So I don't want nobody to kind of sugarcoat that. The USA was an upset. You got to take your hat off to Serbia. Those guys had a hell of a game. Germany had a hell of a game. So those are upsets. Let's accept that. But that's good for the sport, right? That's good for this for FIBA, for basketball, for the fans, to let everybody know that the rest of the world is here to play. And now everybody has to think differently on their approach to try to win a gold medal.
It's really about just looking at it as it is.
Yeah,
right?
It is what it is. I mean, it is what it is. Guys are getting better. The game is growing globally. I mean, the three of us are doing our part as far as growing the game and keeping the game out there internationally. So at the end of the day, man, everybody has an opportunity now to go out there and win a gold medal.
Speaking of doing your part, Pau, not so long ago, you were chosen to be a global ambassador for the FIBA Basketball World Cup 2023. How did that feel for you?
It felt great. It felt organic. It felt natural. I mean, after being part of the game for so long and participating in so many international competitions, obviously it was an honor to be asked to be an ambassador of the game and of the World Cups. So it's been fun. Last year in Sydney in the Women's World Cup and here in the Philippines this year for the men's. It's been an honor to kind of be on this side of the game and continue to contribute to the game.
Mm-hmm. Now, we know the last couple of years, the game has expanded so much. You have all kinds of talents from all corners of the world. With this happening year after year after year, where do you see the room for improvement? And, as ambassadors, how do you think you can fulfill your part in just growing the sport further?
I think it's all about globalization. The fact what FIBA is doing, what NBA is doing, how can we take the game to different places, to more places. We're here quite often in Asia, and I think that's a great thing. Africa, of course, is a great point of emphasis, especially the NBA. The NBA is going there. They're making their league. They're trying to get the game to grow. We got a great story on South Sudan this year in the World Cup. And I think that's what it's all about. How can we take this game more global? How can we take it to more places? How can we make the game interesting in different parts of the world? FIBA is doing that great. NBA has been doing that great. And I think that's the path, and that's what we continue to do. And we as ambassadors, that's what we need to do. We got people from the U.S., from Spain, from Argentina. So that's a little bit of our role. How can we help bring the game to places that maybe it's not, maybe it is, but it can be pushed a little bit harder.
Pau, Melo, what to add to that?
Yeah, just identify, as Luis was saying, room for growth, understanding that this is a very fast-changing world where there's a lot of competition for time and attention. and just kind of continue to make the game attractive and understanding the importance of sports and the impact of sports in our world and societies. So, so just continue to do that. Empower our players, empower our coaches, empower our competitions, and highlight what it does to the world. The positive impact. So that's kind of how you continue to grow it.
Mello?
For me, it's a development, right, and getting in early and teaching these kids and allowing them to gain their confidence and know and have faith that you one day can be a representation of Spain, or one day you can be a representation of Argentina or Team USA. It starts early, so we have to plant that seed early. So for me, I feel like my goal is to get in from the development standpoint and really give that confidence and really teach the game from that standpoint. So by the time they get to hopefully where we at, you already planted that seed a long time ago, and they remember that, and that's just a cycle that keeps going and keeps going. And for me, that's how we will continue to grow the game of basketball, by giving back and developing these kids.
Yeah, because basically when they've experienced that also, they would want to give back in the future as well. Now, okay, Luis, just a last question for you. Tomorrow is the finals game between Serbia and Germany, all-European final. What are you looking forward to the most, or what do you want to see in that match?
That's a great game, by the way. I honestly wasn't expecting that to be the final, but I think it's amazing. Germany's story is amazing. Serbia also is amazing, losing probably two of their best players, but most likely like 4 or 5 great players that are not here today. They still find a way to make it to the finals. Germany, past Nowitzki, nobody thought they could be relevant, and yet they're here playing unbelievable basketball with such a great players, fun to watch. So I'm very excited about that game, and actually I'm very excited about the bronze medal game. I thought that was going to be the final.
Should be a good one too, right?
Yeah, so I'm excited about that game too, and also I'm excited about how those guys are going to approach that game, because those are teams that are supposed to be winning it all, and now they had to play for a medal, and we feel a medal in a World Cup is quite an achievement. So how those guys are going to approach this, to me, is very important. So I hope to see a really good game there too. I'm looking forward for tonight.
Just having the same kind of drive regardless of the podium finish.
You got to respect the game. You got to respect, you're supposed to be a champion, that's fine. You lost, that's fine too, but you keep fighting, you keep playing, you keep going. You always respect the game, and that's non-negotiable. So I'm sure that's the way it's going to go down tonight, but I'm looking forward for that game also.
Well, I'm sure everyone here is looking forward to it too. Luis, Pau, Mello, thank you so much for going through this interview with me. And if I may say, truly an honor to be in the midst of basketball greatness. Now, it's time to give you guys the floor in just a few. But once again, let's give a round of applause for FIBA Basketball World Cup 2023 Global Ambassadors. Now, okay, this is your chance to ask our FBWC 23 Global Ambassadors your questions, but we want this as organized as possible, so just kindly raise your hand and wait for somebody to give you a mic. There's going to be somebody passing around the mic. State your name and the media you represent, and we can start taking questions. The floor is open.
Hello, good morning everybody. Good morning to our ambassadors. This question is for Carmelo Anthony. My name is Naveen Ganglani. I represent SB Nation. Carmelo, given the recent result of last night's big game, which you called an upset, and rightfully so in my opinion, do you think it's about time that the USA always makes it a point to send the best players in the NBA to these international competitions, given the quality of opposition they will face constantly? Thank you very much.
That's a great question. I just want to clear it up. I don't think as Americans and basketball players that we think that we can't lose, right? I think the fear of losing is what drives us and what keeps us, going and want to win and feel so bad after a loss. I always think that, we do a great job as an organization with USAB as far as respecting the game, and then those guys are going to come to play for that medal game because they understand the implications of that game and what that means. But as far as the thought process, of players back in America, we know we have to compete. Those guys know they have to compete. I don't think those guys came into this World Cup thinking that this was going to be a clear shot. But to answer your other question, as far as sending the best guys, we have 450 players in the NBA. You just don't know what injuries, what guys are going through, the timing of everything. And I understand, what it means to put that uniform on and that jersey on. But at the end of the day, everybody has their own thing that's going on and their own decisions and their own people that's talking to them and their own reasons why they make it the decision to come or not to come. So it depends on who it is. I would love to send, the cream of the crop out here every year to compete at the highest level, but we have to respect those guys that's out there right now too. Those guys are professional players. They're on their respective teams in the NBA. They are the guys on those teams. So, you can't send the powerhouses every time. We talking about development. We're developing these young guys and this young talent to be able to compete around the world this year, next year, the next couple World Cups, and the next Olympics. So we'll see what happens. We take our losses with our wins, and we move on.
Hello, gentlemen. Karol Śliwa from Poland. A question to three of you. What do you guys consider the biggest accomplishment of your respective careers? Thank you.
Luis, you want to go first?
To me, when we're talking about the basketball part, winning the gold medal was the biggest accomplishment, 2004. But I always make a note about having the chance to carry the flag in the Olympics in Rio. I think that was probably the biggest accomplishment, and it was something that I would never dream that I could be possible for me, and I had a chance to do it. So those two things are the biggest accomplishment I had.
For me, I don't know. It's hard to say. Obviously, representing my country has been something very special, as Luis and Melo have done as well. And obviously, winning, it's always better. It's always nicer. It's always sweeter. But the losses are also part of that journey, and they take you to those wins and those moments. So I don't take those for granted, and I don't undervalue them. Then I had a pretty good NBA career as well. So won a couple championships. So those moments were very sweet with the Lakers. But when you ask me about the biggest accomplishment, to me it's just looking at the whole picture. Really, it's just about the whole career is what I think, having played until I retired, and Luis also retired at 41 years old. I take pride in that, doing what I love for so long, and what it took and what it meant, and also the impact that I've had. So that's what I think is the biggest accomplishment.
As you get time to reflect back on the game and your career, it's like, for me, I have to take it and say 20 years of doing this, right? That's a long time. I think we don't talk about the longevity in sports often with athletes. It's hard to do. It's hard to compete at that level for 2 decades. It's hard to try to win. And then the journey in between that. USA Basketball, 4 Olympics, 3 golds, 1 bronze. So all of this is part of the journey. But I would say, just looking back on 20 years of this experience of playing basketball at this level, for me, that's an accomplishment. A hell of an accomplishment.
Good morning, everyone. José Ramón Alba de RCB from Spain. Melo, as my colleague said, the world changed. Steve Kerr mentioned it yesterday. It's not 1992 anymore. Noah Lyles says the other day, world champions of what? It's time to rethink on what is the global stage in basketball. On the wrong, call it overseas and think like, yeah, the World Cup, it's the biggest stage, and they are showing that the United States need to take the best players in the world to prove that they are still the best team in the world.
I think we have to respect the game a lot more, right? And I think we have to respect what 1992 has done and created, but even teams before that, what they set out to do and try to do years before that. And then you transition to, our years, the '04, the '08s, the '12s, the '16s. Those were golden years in the USA, right? Players coming together, the cream of the crop, the best players that we considered in the NBA came together for that common cause right there that you just said. And we wasn't sending the right players over here, or not the right players, but the right group of players. But I will say the respect level for the game of basketball around the world from American players is a lot different than it was 15, 20, 30 years ago. Now guys know we have to go to compete. We're playing against these guys every single day in our respective leagues. We know these guys. There's a confident level going up against some of these guys. We scout these guys every day for 8 months. So when you come here, these guys are back on their respective teams. They're back on their respective countries. They're playing for something different. So we respect that. We respect the mindset that you have to go to that. But I'm sure the USA is looking at this right now, and players are looking at this right now, and you might get what you asked for. You understand? And I hope it happens. But we have to keep encouraging this team right here. We can't overlook these guys that's out here right now, working hard, competing. Even though win, lose, or draw, they still out here. They committed, right? They over here. The fans in the Philippines are seeing these guys. So as much as we want to talk about '92 and our years, I think we have to stay right now in the moment and focus on these guys. And let's encourage these guys, if you're a fan, to win a bronze medal.
Hello, everybody. Here, Kevin Chareon for UcuWeb from Argentina. So my question is for Luis. Luis, first of all, thank you for being a guide for me and for my generation. I think you have your first guides with Alicia and Mario in a childhood, playing in a backyard, hanging from a hoop and collapsing a whole wall, I believe. And in that childhood, you were a ball boy in the 1990 World Cup play in Argentina. Then an amazing career, Europe, NBA, Asia. So my question is, if you have the chance, what secrets, what advices, words, or learnings this Scola, ambassador of the current World Cup, will say to that little Luis, or to the kids represented in that dreamer little Luis?
Well, what I will say to somebody coming up and trying to do a long career in basketball is first you need to pursue your dream. You need to be passionate about it. Not because passion is going to make you play better, but passion is going to give you the energy to do the things that you had to do, the things that other people don't want to do, the extra mile, go through all these things that are not really comfortable to do. They're hard to do. They're difficult, and they're not always fun, or most of the time they're not fun. So if you don't have that passion, if you don't have that drive, it's very hard for you to do those things, and that's what separates the goods from the rest. So you got to be really passionate. That's the very first thing, and then you got to go for it. You got to really put your energy, your mind, your body, your heart, and really, really pursue it. Not always it's going to work out, but if you approach it that way, you're going to get to places. You might not get to the very top, but you're going to get to places. You're going to do well. You're going to become the best version of yourself. And at the end of the day, that's the only thing that matters.
Thank you. Next question.
Yeah. Hi, Beatrice Goff from Al Jazeera. This question is for Pau. A lot of the finalists did say that this is putting European basketball on the map. Can you talk about the growth of basketball in Europe?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I think European basketball and international basketball has been on the map now for a minute, right? For a few years. And the game has become so global. Players have grown. Players have believed. They've worked hard, and they got better globally. So, and that's a credit to a lot of different people and different factors. So, it's great to see two teams that have earned their way. Really, being from Europe is just it's something that I don't know how meaningful it is. I'm sure it definitely has meaning because it's not easy to get. It's not easy to beat a USA team with a very talented team, and it's not easy to beat a very good Canadian team that they have played a very good tournament. So again, we'll see. The final will be exciting tomorrow, as so the bronze medal game will be. And I'm just obviously excited for those teams. I'm always happy for the teams that make it to that moment and have that opportunity to win a gold medal, because it's something very rare and very difficult to achieve.
Thank you. Next question. Do we have our mics? Next question, right side at the back.
Good morning, everybody. I'm Cesare Milanti from Euroops. A question for the three of you. Guys, yesterday we heard Sue Bird talking about the importance of sharing stories in order to make the game of basketball grow even more. So, according to you, which has been the most inspiring story so far in this Basketball World Cup? Thank you.
I think for this World Cup, Germany's story is by far the South Sudan story is also pretty cool. I have to say, you know, I was very happy to see their story, to see them succeed, and all it goes behind it with their country and all of that. But Germany yesterday made like a huge, they put the stamp on the tournament. They did it in a way that it was pretty special. Usually, when you want to beat the U.S., you do it in a different way. You take them out of their comfort zone. You play a different game. But Germany did it differently. They came and they played. It's almost like they challenged them to play their way, and they win, scoring 113 points, and they play unbelievably offensively. So I felt it was quite a unique story. Not only yesterday's game, but Germany's been playing great for the whole tournament. So I think those two are the biggest stories of the tournament.
Yeah, I think as Luis mentioned, those are every tournament. There's stories to tell. I think there's stuff to learn. There's stuff that is exciting. It was I think yesterday from the Serbia game, we saw a team that has always had a lot of heart, and they defensively they were just the most aggressive team, and they made stuff happen. Right? They went for it, and that's what you got to do. I think in life, to be able to win, to give yourself the best possible chance, you have to be the most aggressive team. You have to be the hungrier team. And we saw that, I think, in both games. You know, for the longer part of the game, the hungrier team, the most aggressive team is the team that took the game. And yeah, I think in order to beat a team that is stacked or is a more talented team, you really have to have conviction. You got to go for it from the beginning. You have to believe, and those guys believed. And you could see it, and even when the U.S. made a big run, and towards the end, and the fans got into it because they wanted to see a close game. You know, they still came out and came through and made big plays. You know, that shooter that from Germany, the plays at Bayern that we were talking about yesterday, made huge clutch shots, clutch plays. Obviously, Dennis played great. Dennis and Franks played really well. But that shooter, I mean, the MVP of the game, that's an inspiring story right there.
I think these guys said it. I mean, it's so many stories from the beginning to now. But since I've been here and just been following and coming to the game, I mean, those two games yesterday that's 4 stories in 2 games, right? They all had their own individual stories of what you can talk about. The Canadian team, what Shea been doing, Canada feeling good about themselves as a country, being at this level, and understanding that they tasting this what this can be over here. So they have something to look forward to, and they have another opportunity to medal tomorrow as well. The U.S., right? Losing is always a major headline, but also bouncing back. How do you bounce back? The question is, will the USA play hard tomorrow for the bronze medal, right? Will they come to play? So those are all stories. Serbia, what they're able to do without their full team. Germany, I think that's the biggest story over here in this World Cup. The fact that they allow or put themselves in that position to have an opportunity to win a gold medal is like, I don't want to say the word unheard of, but it is. It's like nobody expected that. So I can imagine how those guys are actually feeling and how Germany as a country is actually feeling right now. So those was 4 different stories in 2 games, right? So everybody has their story, and we'll see the greatest story tomorrow.
Thank you. Next question.
Hello, guys. This way, Rodrigo Tovar from Fox Sports Mexico. My question is for you all, please. When you started your careers, the context was like completely different. Maybe the main team was United States. But nowadays that you all have children and they are playing, in the case of Luis and Melo and Pau, if your kids decide to dedicate to basketball, what would it be the main advice, talking just in terms of globalization, that you can give to your kids? Thank you.
So the biggest advice is, we were talking a little bit about it before, just you gotta be very passionate about it, you gotta love what you do, and also you gotta go for it, like with everything you have. Not always everybody's going to succeed, that's impossible, but at the end of the day, you're going to reach your maximum potential, which is what it's all about. So that would be my biggest advice. Just go for it, be passionate about it, and pursue it with all your heart.
I mean, to me, obviously, I would love my kids to play sports, and I would try to expose them to different experiences, not just sports, but so they can kind of try things out and discover what they're actually passionate about, what they want to do, what they want to pursue in their life, what do they enjoy more doing, what do they dream about. Just kind of expose them to different things, but understanding that being active and playing sports is a big part of life, and it's very positive for them. And then provide them with the values and the foundation to be able to succeed later on in life as they go on their own journey. So that's what I'll try to do as a parent, and try to be as present as I can, so I can influence that to the best of my ability, and enjoy also their growth.
For me, I have a son that's 16 right now, and then God's willing, you'll probably be asking him questions over here someday. I hope so. But I try to just let him know and tell him and watch it, right? Watch what's going on and observe and see how hard it is to win, to want this, to love it, the passion that it takes. And for him, he has to want it. If he didn't want it, then I wouldn't have put my fingerprints on him the way that I'm doing now, and I'll still be a father. But come on, let's go find something else to do, because you don't love this. You're not passionate about it. But because you love it and you're passionate, and you're committed to it. Win, lose, or draw, you're committed. I have to give you my all. I have to give you all my resources to make you, or try to make you, and put you in a place where you can be successful.
Next question. Where's our mic? Over at the back.
Hello, everybody. Good morning. Big respect to our ambassadors. My name is Antonis Kalkavouras, representing Gazeta of Greece. The question is for Pau Gasol. Since you were one of the top guy of the Spanish team in Saitama in 2006, I would like your advice to the German team, because at that point Greece was celebrating till the next morning, after the win against
I remember.
Yeah, of Carmelo's U.S. team. And especially when they learned that Pau Gasol will not be playing in the final. What's your advice about the mental preparation that the German team has to take care, in order to be successful for the finals tomorrow?
Yeah, I think I don't know if if I would give him advice, but I would give the same probably advice if it was my Spanish team that beat, let's say the Spain would have beat last night instead of Germany, would be just don't get too excited. It's kind of one of the things that Kobe used to say too. The job is not done. You won the semifinals, great. It was against the U.S., great, but you have a chance to win a gold medal. So you got to manage that type of excitement and those emotions. So your focus is on the final game and on your chance to win a gold medal, because it's tough. It's tough to have that opportunity, and you don't know when that's going to happen again. So I would say manage the emotions, manage the excitement, understand the opportunity you have tomorrow to win a gold medal, to make history for your country, So that's what I would say. I remember that 2006. Even when I got injured, my teammates, I saw confidence. I saw that they saw an opportunity, even though Greece was playing great, and they just played a great semifinal, and they beat the favorite team in the tournament. But they came out with heart. They played an amazing defensive game. They were amazing. I mean, that was one of the games that I enjoyed the most. Even when I wasn't even on or off the floor, I really enjoyed that game, and it was because of my teammates' belief, and it showed the identity of our team at that point too.
Okay, next question. White shirt, right side on the back.
Yeah, hi, good morning. Sam Friedman from Olympics.com. We see from afar basketball is a fraternity or a sorority. Can you talk about, all three of you, the camaraderie and friendships that develop during these domestic and international competitions? Thank you.
Like for me, the camaraderie and the fraternity is pretty big. In our Argentina national team, we got a chance to start playing together when we were 15, 16, and we're still friends to this day. Now you never really know if the results will give you this bonding, or the bonding will give you the results. There's always discussions about this, but at the end of the day, we had a chance to compete and fight together for so many years that to these days we still go on vacation together. We still talk all the time, and it's always a great day when we get together. So, and I think it's very important when you're talking about national teams. When you're talking about clubs, it might be a little bit different, but when you're talking about national teams, that bonding, at the end, like a team, you can always pick any player. You can, hire, contract, pay somebody else to come and play, and that's usually the case. But when you play for the national team, your players are your players. You're not going to be able to change nationality. You're not going to be able to go play for another team. They're not going to be able to bring somebody else from another team and make play for you. So those are your guys. If you don't get along, it's going to be very hard to get success. So if you want to do well, you need to create that camaraderie.
Yeah, I mean, for us in Spain, we started talking about, and our team is defined as a family, right? La Familia, and because of all the summers that we spend together, that we decide to come together and represent our country. So it's an unbelievable bond that lasts, for a lifetime. But then also it's interesting. I think once you're done playing and you kind of put your weapons down and you take your shoes off and stuff, and now you also acknowledge in the respect that you had for your competitors, and now you're not competing against each other, you're not battling against each other. Now you're acknowledging and appreciating, how hard you had to play, how hard they played against you. They made you better. They pushed you to be a better version of yourself, to be a better player, to give your best if you wanted to beat them or have a chance to. So I think that's also a beautiful part of this game. After so many years of going against Argentina, against the USA team, you have that appreciation, even if you don't acknowledge it or you don't share it or you don't talk to the opponent because you don't really want to at the time, right? You want to go out there and beat them. So that's also good.
I've never thought that I would be sitting up here next to Pau and Luis from Argentina and Spain, coming from Team USA. And I say that humbly because we talk about the growth of basketball and the game of basketball globally. And these guys, alongside myself, we're doing our job now with a different hat on. But as far as the U.S. goes, the camaraderie that we had to create, because we saw without it what was happening. In 04, we was losing. We didn't have no camaraderie. 06, we lost. We didn't have no camaraderie. We was very intentional coming back in 2007 and made a commitment to Team USA, a 3-4 year commitment, those guys. So that's how we were able to create those bonds with one another, become a real brotherhood, learn guys that, again, we compete against these guys day in and day out. We don't have a relationship normally outside of the game of basketball. So, and I'm speaking on NBA players. So when we come together for Team USA, that is our moment to kind of put everything to the side and really focus on USA. Bring your egos, but don't let your ego ruin you, right? Because that's who you are. And that was a quote that Coach K always said to us. So as far as coming together as a group, you know, we won 3 gold medals, 08, 12, and 16. That was because we committed and we was intentional about creating something and understanding what we have to do and put out there to be successful at this level.
Thank you. Next question.
Hello to everyone. Thank you for your time. Christos Chaldas, Pollard, Greece. Carmelo, question for you. Looking back in 2006 and the semifinal against Greece, how motivated you that game to getting better through your career, and what's your advice to the Team USA's players after the loss against Germany last night, getting better through their careers?
Well, my advice to Team USA is go play ball. You guys know how to play. We know how to play basketball. This is what we do. This is not, you know, this is not hard, but we have to dig deep and we have to find ways to come together and win basketball games. This is a different type of game. Basketball is global, it's universal, but this is a different style of game. It's slower. It's you know, more half court. The NBA is not half court no more. The NBA wants to score 150, 170, 200 points. When you get a team like Germany who beats Team USA at their pace, at their game, and scoring 113 points in the World Cup, that's a different type of game, right? So Germany don't win that game if they don't play the Team USA way, because you have to score points to win, to beat Team USA. So, you know, as far as that, you know, Germany, those guys they deserve it. They deserve everything that they're getting right now. But Team USA, man, you guys will be all right. It's not, we lost. You know, we chalk that up and we go out there and we go try to get that win against Canada. And we have to understand the implications of what this means tomorrow and not think that, hey, we're going to get a bronze medal. What does this mean? No, this is still meaningful. Like, we still have something to go out there and prove, and we still want to see how we're going to bounce back. And it's a big test for us tomorrow to see how we respond to that loss.
Next question.
Yes, good morning. I'm John Mogol of RP2 Sports. I have a couple of questions for Pau. The first one, Kobe was named Global Ambassador for the 2019 World Cup, and now 4 years after, you're doing the same role. Do you consider this experience something extra special, knowing that up until today, you still have, you know, something in common to share with Kobe? Plus, you're here in the Philippines, and the Philippines absolutely loves Kobe Bryant. And the other question, are you wearing Kobe 11's FTB Black Mamba? Thank you.
Yes. Well, Kobe was a big part of my career, but not just my career, but my life. Because our relationship kind of transcended basketball, and it's still, I still have him very present on a daily basis. I know Kobe was big in the Philippines, was big in China, was big everywhere, and we saw that time after time. So to me, just to help continue to grow his legacy in any way I can, it's something that it's meaningful to me, especially. What's most meaningful is really the family ties and the relationship with Vanessa and the girls, and being present and being there for them, and they're being there for us too as a family. So that's what's really important. But besides that, on the basketball world, on the sports world, just trying to share values, trying to share things that he has done. And I know he had a big also desire to grow the women's game. So that's something that it's also important to me, and now as a father of a girl. So stuff like that. It's all meaningful. That's what you try to find in life, right?
Very nice. Next question at the back.
Hello, good morning. My name is Yuki Ogawa from Dunk Shoot Magazine, Japan. And first of all, thank you very much for this precious occasion. My question is, we've been talking about global growth of basketball, but having said that, there is no Asian or African country in the top half. So I think the gap is closing now, but there should be something to be done. So I'd like to ask you, and also having witnessed the small country like Latvia nearly reached the semifinals, so maybe there should be something that that works really good. So I'd like to ask three of you your opinion on that. Thank you very much.
Yeah, I'll say to that, for the other countries that are looking at this World Cup and trying to see or figure out what to do to try to get to this level, you can see the excitement of the different countries now, and because they see the opportunity that they can go out there and win a gold medal, or they can win a medal for their country, that perspective changed over the years, right? Before, that never was a perspective. Now it's believable because it's happening, right? You see Germany last night, like, it's believable. They know that we have a chance to go out there and compete and play and gather and galvanize units and countries and people and family and friends and, and communicate, right? That's what this is actually doing. So for those countries that's out there that may be looking at this or are looking at this, please look at this as an opportunity because it's feasible. You can go out there and you can win a gold medal, or you can medal and you can play well. And, a lot of times we want to win. We all want to win. But when you get out there and you give it all you have and you're playing for something bigger, that's bigger than winning a lot of times, because you get to go back home to your respective place and now you get to be around the people and you get to celebrate. Win, lose, or draw, they appreciate what you put out there on the court and the effort that you put out there. So, there's countries that in the next couple of years that we will be talking about sitting up here and guys will be talking about their story at that point in time. So I'm excited about just the growth of basketball from overall. We talk about globally, but these countries that's just coming around and starting to feel good about themselves as far as winning. Now you take Sudan for an example. They feel good about coming into the Olympics in the next World Cup because they felt it. They understand what this is, and they realize what we can do as a unit and give back to our community and our country and our people.
I think what to add to that, I think nothing really happens overnight, right? Everything has a process. And I think we've seen stuff happening in this World Cup, as it happens every tournament, as happening, historical stuff has happened, right? South Sudan now qualifying for the Olympics for the first time, Japan beating a European team for the first time, in an up-and-coming team in Finland, who's a very tough team too and talented. So stuff is happening. It takes a little time. I mean, when you see Germany, and we talk about Germany because they're one of the two teams in the finals. We're not. That's why one of the things as far as the advice to Germany, we're not talking about Germany as being the champion because they're not the champion yet. Serbia just wants it just as bad, and they earned their spot just as much as Germany has. So we'll see what happens tomorrow. But as far as Germany, you see the process of Germany throughout the last 20 years. What Dirk has been able to do for his country. And this is part of the legacy that he's achieved, I think, with his teammates throughout the years. I think, you look back in 2017 in the European Championship, where Germany got to the quarterfinals, and where they lost against us in 2017. Last year in the Euro Championship that they played at home, they lost in the semifinals, and I think they won the bronze medal in Berlin. And now they're taking a step more forward with the same guys that have played those tournaments, that have gone through those challenges, that have gone through those losses as well. So we'll see. It's a process. It's a process, and it's about making steps forward towards growth and getting better.
Yeah, I think them two make some great points. I agree with all of that. But I would also add that globalization doesn't mean that everybody's going to win. Doesn't mean that we will equally have teams from all parts of the world. It means everybody's pushing to grow the game everywhere, but there will still be some teams that do better than others. And you still need to develop your program. You still need to have the talent. You still need to have the preparation. You still need to do all those things. So it doesn't mean that we're going to have a circle that everybody's going to get a chance to win it. Everybody's going to have the chance to have somebody up there. It just means that everybody's going to have equal chances, or that's what everybody's trying to do, to have equal chances to develop their programs, to develop the basketball game, to promote it, to make sure that it grows from the audience point of view, from the kids playing point of view. But it doesn't mean that all the countries or all the continents are going to win equally. So individually, each country needs to develop their programs, needs to do the things that they've been doing. Germany is a great example. They've been growing this program for 20 years, and they got their reward. And there's other programs that have been doing this for years. Serbia is another one. You talk about Latvia. You can also talk about Lithuania. You know, when you're talking about small countries, Lithuania is a 3 million people country, and they are always up there. Always up there with players in the NBA, players in the EuroLeague, winning medals in the Olympics, in the World Cup, in the European Championship. They're always there. So what those guys do? Why are they always up there? We got Australia now. They're coming up. They're playing better. They have 6, 7, 8, sometimes 9, 10 players in the NBA. They're in the semifinals. They're fighting for medals. All these things. You know, what are those guys doing? They've been growing their programs for years. Spain did it. They're still doing it. They didn't have a good tournament this time, but they've been doing great, and they will continue to do great in the future. So when we're talking about growing the game globally, you still need to zoom in and figure out the individual programs. What are those guys doing? And it's their own countries, they need to develop their success. And when you're talking about continents, it's pretty much the same thing. You know, it doesn't mean that everybody's going to win. It just means that we're trying to everybody to have equal opportunities, but you still need to do your own thing.
All right, we're taking last two questions. There, okay.
Hello, my name is Dmitry Machoransky, representing Godball. And question for all three of you. As we have the finals game tomorrow, and all three of you played and won the final games in different levels, could you please share your thoughts on what makes the finals so special, especially when the most expected favorite is bounced out already? And could you please share your biggest memories from your final game, from your careers? What is the final game memory for all three of you, please? Thank you.
So the game is pretty special. I think the most special part about playing the final is that when you come into a tournament, there's all these people, all these teams, players, and then as the tournament goes on, there's less and less teams. You move on to the next round, there's less teams, on 16 instead of 32. Then you move into the next round, it's only 8. And then you're taking it all the way to the final. It's just 2 teams remaining. And you can feel it. You can feel it in the hotel. You can feel it in the events. You can feel it all around. And that's like a very, very cool feeling. All the eyes are on that game. That brings a lot of attention. And that's also pretty special. So those are, you know, what I remember the most about making it all the way to the end.
Well, it's, I'm just excited to enjoy the final tomorrow. I think it's going to be highly competitive. Both teams going at it. I mean, we saw how badly they wanted it yesterday. So so the final game, you expect that or more. So it'll be interesting to see, watch those two teams fight for it. And what I remember about the times I've been able to play finals, whether it's the World Cup or the Olympics or the NBA or others, it's just it takes a special approach, special mindset going into it, special determination, focus, and preparation at the end of the day. So I think I'm just excited again to watch the game tomorrow and let the best team win and see what happens.
Yeah, the opportunity, I think, is, of what you can accomplish is what keeps you going. It's like you got to get your rest, but you can't sleep. The preparation, right? How do you prepare for this one last game? How do you block everything out? How do you just focus on every play and your rhythm and how you wake up and how you walk into the arena and how you warm up and what you eat and so all of those things come into play when you talk about preparing for that opportunity of that last game. And then at that point, all the work that you've put in over the years, over the summer, it all comes down to that one game, that 40-minute game, and every possession counts, the energy counts, your bench counts, your coach got to be right, your fans got to be right, and you have to be a fine oil machine on that basketball court for that last game. So I would say the preparation that you have to prepare for it to meet that opportunity of winning the gold medal, that's I think that's what's the energy. That's what keeps you going, and that's the momentum that you carry on into that gold medal game. So you see sometimes guys come out, tight and tense, and that's the energy that's happening for them 2 days from last night, today, and then leading up to the game tomorrow. Like, that's the energy that you have to try to manage, going into that last game.
All right, last question.
Hello, good day everyone, and thanks for sharing your time with us. Nikola Stojkovic, Mozart Sport Belgrade. The question is for all three of you. You were talking about Serbia national team missing several key players, but what's your take on Serbia game at this tournament, the pace they're playing, and what are your thoughts about the chances about winning gold tomorrow?
I think Serbia is one of those things that, they've been doing so well for so many years that you kind of like overlook, take it for granted, like assume that that's going to be the case. But what they're doing is pretty special. They're always around. They got all these players, and you're thinking, oh, now they have a bad team or they have a worse team, so they're not the same. And then they come back, and then they got more players. And then it happens again, and they keep coming back, and they keep coming back. This time, it was like, okay, they don't have such a great team. They're missing a couple key players. They're actually missing the best player of the world. And you would think, like, if you take the best player of the world from a team, the team is going to be drastically worse. And yet, we see Serbia again coming back one more time and dominating an international competition like they've been doing for so many years. So that's quite special. That's quite unique, and they got us used to that, to the point that we don't talk about it anymore, or we don't talk it enough. So I think it's unbelievable. On the other side, I actually think Serbia is playing pretty cool basketball. They're very modern. They're playing fast. They're playing different than in the past. And that's what we see in basketball going. That's the direction basketball is taking. Where, like yesterday, Germany beat the U.S. at 113 points. And Lithuania beat the U.S. at 110 points, or 11. I don't remember. I don't know how much it was, but that was not common in the past. Usually, when you wanted to beat the U.S., you're supposed to take them out of their comfort zone. You're supposed to play a very different game. You're supposed to play slow. You're supposed to make them uncomfortable. Now it's almost like, no. We're going to play your way. We're going to beat you at your game. But it's not because that's the approach. It's because that's the way basketball is being played today. That we have discovered that that's the best way to play basketball, and to me, it's also more fun to watch. So I'm happy that this is happening, and I'm happy that traditional teams like Serbia, they're adapting to it, and we are seeing better basketball because of it. So it's welcome. It's very welcome.
Well, to me, it's obviously, like I said earlier, Serbia has earned their way into this final game and a chance to fight for a gold medal. To me, one of the stories that we haven't mentioned is Pesic being the coach. He was the coach that won the 2002 World Cup for Serbia 21 years ago, and he's the head coach of the team that is playing the final. What an amazing coach. So he coached my brother. I got to know him personally, and so I give him a lot of credit because he's one of those old school coaches that he's passionate. He's able to lead his teams to to the best possible outcome. And I think Serbia again is playing extremely well, even without Jokic and some other great Serbian players. But I think the unity and the team play overcomes the individual talent of teams. I think we saw it too when 2019 in Beijing, when Argentina beat France. They weren't supposed to be friends, but they were a better team, and they proved that they were a more cohesive and better team, and they played together and they played with heart. And then Spain beat Australia. Was on paper probably a more talented team individually, and we watched an unexpected final probably at that time. But it was a beautiful final of the two best teams playing and going against each other. So I think we're seeing something like this again here today. It's not so much about the individuals and the talent. Obviously that helps, but it's about a team playing together, believing, fighting, communicating, defending every single play, fighting for every ball, getting excited, and putting for each other. That's valuable.
Melo,
You're
would you
looking for
like-
my answer? I actually think Serbia did themselves some justice as far as putting themselves where they at. But this is a testament of what we were talking about earlier of putting in the work in the process and the journey. Serbia has been doing this for so long and putting in the work and putting in the grind and just coming that close to getting over the hump. Germany, right? They've been putting in this work forever, for years. So these are two teams I think that you would see a different level of intensity tomorrow, a different level of focus, a different level of preparation, because that opportunity tomorrow, you can imagine what's going to be going through those guys' heads, because they believed it, they knew it, they lived it, they went through it over 15 and 20 years to be at this point right now where nobody expected this. We sit up here talk about everybody wanted to see USA versus Canada and just shutting the door on Germany and countries like Serbia. So what we're seeing now is the globalization of basketball growing, the growth of basketball growing, but also guys believing in the journey and the process to get to this point today. So I'm looking forward to a hell of a gold medal match tomorrow. And even the bronze medal match is going to be good. So I think tomorrow will be a great day for fans. I think tomorrow will be a great day for FIBA and just the world and just the state of basketball.
All right, I'm afraid for now that's all the time that we have for the Q&A. But thank you guys again for coming out to support our World Cup Global Ambassadors Day. And before we close the show, I think it's only fitting that everybody gets a photo opportunity with you three. And what better way to do that, of course, with an icon of unity and representation of an absolute joy to see. Let's all call out on stage FIBA Basketball World Cup 2023 mascot, Jeep. Yeah, and if we can have all you guys right in front, center stage, please. Jip on the other side. On the other side, Jip. Yan. Okay, all right. On behalf of FIBA and everyone here today, I'd like to express again my sincerest and deepest gratitude to all of you guys for the FIBA Basketball World Cup 2023 Global Ambassadors, Luis Scola, Pau Gasol, and Carmelo Anthony. Thank you so much for joining us today. They've definitely made this event extra special for everybody involved. So thank you to those guys. Now, today has been truly a walk down memory lane and a celebration of not only our love for the game, but a triumph of working towards a common goal. Again, my name is Denise Tan, and this has been the FIBA Basketball World Cup 2023 talk show. Please feel free to stay, get comfortable, and grab a bite. Keep safe, everybody. Thank you very much.
This has been the FIBA Basketball World Cup 2023 talk show. Thank you for your support for our FBWC 23 Global Ambassadors, Luis Scola, Pau Gasol, and Carmelo Anthony. Please feel free to stick around and enjoy the snack buffet provided at the sides of our venue. Keep safe and have a great day ahead.